As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. For millions, that line was the electrifying introduction to the world of Goodfellas. The faces became legendary: Ray Liotta, Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci. But after the credits rolled, their real lives took turns no script could have ever predicted. One of the film's biggest stars met a tragic, untimely end, while another would all but vanish from Hollywood for years. The stories of this cast are packed with unbelievable triumphs, private battles, and shocking twists of fate. So, 36 years later, we're uncovering what really happened to the entire Goodfellas crew. Let's start with the man at the center of it all, Ray Liotta. His portrayal of the ambitious and paranoid mobster Henry Hill wasn't just a role, it was the performance of a lifetime. While Goodfellas made him a household name, Liotta was already on the rise, thanks to a commanding lead in Something Wild and an unforgettable role in the 1989 classic Field of Dreams. But playing Henry Hill cemented his legacy. Those intense eyes and that volatile energy made him the definitive face of a certain kind of cinematic gangster: charming, dangerous, and always hustling. After the film, Liotta worked relentlessly. He starred opposite Sylvester Stallone in the gritty crime drama Copland, played Johnny Depp's father in Blow, and gave a memorable performance in the thriller Identity. And who could forget his iconic voice work as Tommy Vercetti in the video game Grand Theft Auto Vice City? Despite his consistent work, Liotta often spoke about being typecast and the massive shadow his most famous role cast over his career. He was also a devoted father to his daughter, Carson, from his marriage to Michelle Grace. Tragically, on May 26, 2022, the world was stunned by the news of Liotta's passing at just 67 years old. He died in his sleep in the Dominican Republic while filming a new movie. Documents later revealed his death was caused by acute heart failure. The news sent a shockwave through Hollywood, a somber reminder of an incredible talent lost far too soon. While Ray Liotta is no longer with us, his performance as Henry Hill is immortal, a masterclass in charisma and chaos that will never be forgotten. Next up, the man who was already a Hollywood titan by 1990, Robert De Niro. As the cunning and quietly brutal Jimmy the Gent Conway, De Niro added another legendary character to a resume that already included Travis Bickle and Vito Corleone. For De Niro, Goodfellas was another flawless link-up with Martin Scorsese, following masterpieces like Raging Bull and Taxi Driver. After the film, his career didn't just continue, it exploded in directions nobody saw coming. He kept his dramatic edge in films like Casino and Heat, but also showed off a surprising comedic side in the blockbuster Meet the Parents franchise. And he didn't stop at acting. De Niro became a powerhouse behind the scenes, making his directorial debut with A Bronx Tale in 1993. In the wake of the September 11th attacks, he co-founded the Tribeca Film Festival to help revitalize Lower Manhattan and also expanded his business empire with the world-renowned Nobu restaurants. In 2019, he reunited with Scorsese and Pesci for The Irishman, earning rave reviews for his poignant turn as Frank Sheeran. While many of his co-stars have faded from the spotlight or passed on, Robert De Niro remains an undeniable force in cinema, a living legend who is still shaping the industry today. Funny how? With just 2 words, Joe Pesci created one of the most terrifying and unforgettable scenes in movie history. His portrayal of the hot-tempered, psychopathic Tommy DeVito was a cinematic powder keg, a performance so electric it won him an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. Pesci was the film's wild card, a 5'3" giant of rage and unpredictability. After Goodfellas, he became one of the most in-demand actors of the 90s, lighting up the screen in hits like Home Alone, My Cousin Vinny, and Casino. But then, in 1999, at the absolute height of his fame, Pesci did something almost unheard of. He walked away. It wasn't just to focus on his passion for music, as was widely reported, but he did release several jazz albums. Pesci simply wanted to step out of the spotlight and enjoy a private life. For nearly 2 decades, he was largely absent from the screen, making only a couple of brief appearances, including a cameo in Robert De Niro's 2006 film, The Good Shepherd. It took his old friend Martin Scorsese years of convincing to bring him back for one more role. His reluctant return as the quietly powerful mob boss Russell Bufalino in The Irishman was a triumph, earning him another Oscar nomination and reminding the world of his subtle genius. Today, Joe Pesci lives a quiet life, true to his word, enjoying his time away from the industry he once dominated. While the men of Goodfellas were drowning in crime, Lorraine Bracco gave the film its heart and its conscience as Karen Hill. Her transformation from a mesmerized outsider to a complicit, paranoid player in the mob world was utterly gripping, earning her an Academy Award nomination and providing the film's essential counter-narrative to Henry's. After such an iconic role, Bracco faced the challenge of avoiding being typecast. She appeared in films like Medicine Man and The Basketball Diaries, but her next career-defining moment came on television. In 1999, she was cast in HBO's groundbreaking series The Sopranos. Initially in the running to play mob wife Carmela Soprano, Bracco made a brilliant pivot, choosing the complex role of Dr. Jennifer Melfi, the psychiatrist to mob boss Tony Soprano. The decision paid off, earning her multiple Emmy and Golden Globe nominations. In the years since, Bracco has worked steadily, starring in the series Rizzoli and Isles, and even hosting her own HGTV show, My Big Italian Adventure, where she renovated a home in Sicily. She's also become a vocal advocate for mental health and wrote a best-selling memoir, On the Couch. Lorraine Bracco expertly navigated the post-Goodfellas landscape to create a second act just as iconic as her first. Now the guys got Paulie. It was a tribute, just out of respect. Paul Sorvino's portrayal of the capo Paul Cicero was a masterclass in understated authority. With a calm so steady it was terrifying, and eyes that missed nothing, he commanded every scene, often without even raising his voice. Sorvino based his character on the real-life mobster Paul Vario, and perfectly captured the quiet menace of an old-school boss. After Goodfellas, Sorvino's career flourished. He was an incredibly versatile actor, playing Secretary of State Henry Kissinger in Oliver Stone's Nixon and the fiery Fulgencio Capulet in Baz Luhrmann's Romeo plus Juliet. He also had a memorable run on the TV series Law and Order. But acting was just one of his many talents. Sorvino was a true Renaissance man, a gifted opera singer, a talented sculptor, and a passionate chef who even launched his own pasta sauce line. He was also fiercely protective of his children, including his Oscar-winning daughter, Mira Sorvino. On July 25, 2022, just 2 months after Ray Liotta's passing, Paul Sorvino died at the age of 83 from natural causes after dealing with health issues. His death marked the loss of another pillar of the Goodfellas cast, a beloved artist whose talent stretched far beyond the silver screen. The brilliance of Goodfellas is also in its unforgettable supporting cast, and many of them went on to have incredible careers of their own. Who could forget Frank Vincent as Billy Batts, whose taunting of Joe Pesci's character led to one of the most brutal scenes in film history? Vincent became a staple of gangster storytelling, later reuniting with many of his castmates on The Sopranos. He passed away in 2017, leaving behind a legacy of iconic tough guy roles. Then there's Michael Imperioli, who played the ill-fated bartender, Spider. Though his time on screen was short, it was brutally memorable. Of course, Imperioli would rise to global fame as Christopher Moltisanti in The Sopranos, a role that won him an Emmy. He has continued to act, write, and in 2024 appeared on Broadway in a celebrated revival of An Enemy of the People. Debi Mazar brought a sharp, funny energy to the role of Sandy, Henry's mistress. After Goodfellas, she built a long and successful career as a character actress, with memorable roles in the series Entourage and Younger. In 2024, she appeared as Medusa in the Netflix series Chaos. And in the small but crucial role of getaway driver Stax Edwards, we see a young Samuel L. Jackson. Just a few years before Pulp Fiction made him a global superstar, his brief appearance in Goodfellas is a fascinating glimpse of the icon he was about to become. Today, he's one of the highest-grossing actors of all time. It's been 36 years since Martin Scorsese's masterpiece hit theaters. Looking back, the cast of Goodfellas has experienced a lifetime of highs and lows that rival the drama of the film itself. Some, like Robert De Niro, continued their ascent into Hollywood royalty. Others, like Lorraine Bracco and Michael Imperioli, found their most defining roles on television. And sadly, many of the key players, including the unforgettable Ray Liotta, Paul Sorvino, and Frank Vincent, are no longer with us. While the faces have aged and some have left us far too soon, their performances in Goodfellas are locked in, as powerful and electrifying today as they were in 1990. It wasn't just a movie. It was a cultural event that defined a genre and immortalized every single actor who was a part of it. Which actor's story surprised you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe Fame Retro for more journeys into Hollywood history. Thanks for watching.